Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving deep into the really diverse world of children with special needs. We're going to try to move beyond the simple labels to really get a better understanding of what it means to be an exceptional learner. All right, so here's our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off by rethinking what special needs even means. Then we'll explore the world of gifted learners, look at academic challenges, and get into specific learning disabilities. After that, we'll touch on social and cultural factors and wrap it all up by looking at the path to real inclusion.
Okay, first things first, we really need to challenge the way we usually think about special needs. It's not some narrow box for a handful of students. It's actually a huge spectrum that includes any learner who's different from the norm. And getting that is, well, it's the first big step towards inclusion.
Now, this definition right here, it's a total game changer. The term exceptional is inclusive. It's not just about students who are struggling. It also includes kids who perform way above the norm. Just that one little shift in thinking completely reframes the whole conversation. This really shows you how far we've come in special education. I mean, we started with totally separate special schools. Then we moved to mainstreaming, which was all about preparing students to join regular schools. From there, we got to integration, same building, but often different classrooms. The goal now, where we're really trying to get, is inclusion. One single classroom, one community, built from the start to work for everybody. So, sticking with that idea of a broad spectrum, let's start at the high-performance end and talk about gifted learners. Giftedness isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. The source material actually breaks it down into 3 different types. First, you've got your intellectually bright kids. Super high IQs, they just pick things up incredibly fast. Then you have the creative learners. These are the out-of-the-box thinkers who connect ideas in totally new ways. And finally, you've got the talented kids, who have this almost unbelievable skill in one specific thing, like music or art. So how do we actually help these kids thrive? Well, for the creative ones, the key is to ditch the rigid structures. It's all about creating an environment where they have freedom, brainstorming, encouraging healthy debate, and even letting them explore fantasy to see where their ideas go. And of course, you need similar tailored approaches for the intellectually bright and the talented to make sure they're reaching their potential too. All right, now let's kind of shift gears and move along the spectrum to learners who have a tough time with the standard pace of schoolwork. This is a group often described as having academic dysfunction. This right here is a really, really important distinction. A slow learner's challenge is about their natural learning speed. They can absolutely learn, just not as fast. An underachiever, though, is different. They've got high potential, but there's this big gap between what they could be doing and what they're actually doing in school. Next up, let's dive into specific learning disabilities. And it's so critical to get this. These are not about intelligence, not at all. They're about neurological differences in how the brain is wired to process information, and they can affect kids at any intelligence level. This table gives us a quick snapshot of some of the most common learning disabilities. You can see they each affect a different area, but what they all have in common is that they create a gap between a person's potential and their ability to show it in traditional ways. We've got dyslexia for reading, dysgraphia for writing, dyscalculia for math, dyspraxia with motor skills, and aphasia, which affects understanding language. So with dyslexia, the big hurdle is processing written language. A child might genuinely struggle to see the difference between words that look alike, like tried and tired, which, as you can imagine, makes reading super slow and frustrating. Dysgraphia is all about that gap between what a child can say and what they can actually write down. They might be able to tell you this incredible, detailed story, but then struggle to even form letters and get those same thoughts organized on paper. For kids with dyscalculia, the whole world of numbers can feel like a foreign language. They really struggle to make sense of mathematical sequences, symbols, and ideas that most other people find pretty straightforward. So what actually works? What are the best strategies for teaching? Well, it pretty much boils down to a few key things. First, you have to build their confidence by celebrating every small victory. Use multisensory teaching, get sight, sound, and touch involved. Keep instructions really clear and short. And maybe the most important thing of all, just give them the extra time they need to process things and get their work done. Okay, but it's not just about what's going on inside the brain. A child's social life, their culture, their environment, all of that plays a massive role in their education. And that creates a whole other category of exceptional learners. You see, a child's school journey doesn't just start when the bell rings. If a student comes from a socially or culturally disadvantaged background,
they might be facing hurdles before they even walk through the door. Maybe there aren't many books at home, or maybe English isn't their first language, creating a communication gap. Or maybe their home environment, for whatever reason, just can't provide the same kind of academic support or motivation. So let's pull all these different threads together. Now that we understand this whole wide spectrum of learners, what does it actually take to build an education system where every single one of them can thrive? See, creating an inclusive school isn't about just one program. It's a fundamental change to the entire system. It all starts with the teacher's attitude. It has to be positive, sensitive, accepting. It needs a flexible curriculum that actually reflects all these different types of learners, teaching methods that aren't just one size fits all, and fair ways to evaluate students. And ultimately, it takes a whole school culture where diversity isn't just something you put up with, it's something you celebrate. And that leaves us with this one really powerful question to think about. Are we building our schools to fit our children, or are we still asking our children to fit into our schools? It really makes you think about whether our education system is truly designed around the needs of every child, or if it's just a rigid system they're all expected to conform to. It's a question worth asking. Thanks for watching The Explainer.